I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, things like that. Of course, following Depp First Heard, have been for a while. And if you have, you might know two people on Twitter, especially, have been very mean towards Johnny Depp. One of those people is Michelle Dauber, who we'll talk about, and the other is Eve Barlow, who's Amber Heard's good friend, some say journalist, whatever Eve is. These two have really been insulting Johnny and criticizing Johnny. Now, some people on Amber's side will say that Amber is getting harassed. They'll say it's harassment. But what Dauber and Eve Barlow have been doing was the same exact thing to Johnny as far as the criticism, and worse. Well, there are some Amber jokes out there, I must admit, turd jokes, flappy fish markets, things like that aren't nice, but I think they took it to the next level. Actually wishing harm on Johnny and things like that. So this source here, which is my source for this video, Larry Foreman, the DUI guy, says confirmed Stanford University has launched a formal investigation against Michelle Dauber for engaging in acts of online harassment. Now, there probably is more. It's not just Johnny. There's some other things I don't have every single detail on, but what I know and from what I've seen is that what some people on Amber's side would consider harassment is exactly what Dauber did to Johnny Depp, and perhaps Stanford University picked up on that. I mean, they're supposed to be pretty smart, right? They're supposed to be non-biased, not take sides, look at the facts, and the facts are, or I should say the facts were, but the recent facts were, Michelle Dauber tweeted a lot about Johnny. He looks like an old lady, wishing him harm, things like that, all this stuff. Really distasteful, childish stuff. So hopefully this has now caught up to Professor Dauber. That umbrella guy says Stanford simply had to allow her to harass students, businesses, and more, but hey. And Boo here says, better late than never, I guess. Stanford were tagged so many times, and she even commented that they knew everything and didn't care, like she was being protected. I'm curious about what's changed. So yes, at one point Stanford said, this is her freedom of speech, we respect that, we will not get involved. Now, no one's saying she shouldn't have the right to say it, she should be banned, she should be fired, or anything like that. Maybe some people, but I'm not. But it should be addressed, and it should be reprimanded, and she should be told it's negative and it's not a good look by her employer. Technically, she didn't do anything wrong. It is her freedom of speech to make a snowman and say Johnny looks like it and Johnny's melting and things like that. Okay, whatever. But as someone teaching at that level at such a prestigious school, is that really the look you want? Does that really encourage people to study there? Respect the school? It's a gray area. So I would think they'd at least pitch in their opinion, something like opinions of Michelle Dauber do not represent what Stanford thinks, or something like that. You always saw those old comedy shows on TV from like NBC or wherever, and they'd have a comedian saying racy things, spicy things, but under that it would say the opinions of whoever do not reflect the opinions of NBC or whatever. And you'd think that's what Stanford would at least put out there. Dr. Hines asked for a source, which unfortunately I don't have at the moment as far as an article, but I'll trust that DOI guy. For now, he says confirmed, so I'm thinking we'll probably hear more about it. He's a big name. If he puts out confirmed, then okay, we'll trust him for now. Well, it took them long enough. I sent a letter and a whole 4 or 5 pages of her tweets about JD and men in general to Stanford a few months back. There you go. Like I was saying, there's a lot out there. You Google it, Michelle Dauber, Johnny Depp, you'll see some very distasteful things. All right. Pretty funny. You get a heart and 1,000 views. And this person says they have to look at the horrible tweets she made about Johnny and Rihanna. So like I said, this is more than just Johnny, but I'm mostly concerned with the Johnny stuff as far as what I'm following, what I'm thinking about. But I would imagine Johnny's a pretty big name. I'd imagine they're going to take a look at that stuff too. I mean, how could you not? They're looking at pretty much unknowns who aren't famous out of the context of what she did, and Johnny Depp, who is like one of the most famous people on the planet. So it seems like they're not going to ignore that. Right, I forgot to mention this. So, Stanford themselves are launching an investigation, but Twitter and their previous moderation team did not think Michelle Dauber broke any rules when she called Camille a skirt, said Rihanna will have a Texas death, and that JD should just die. Well, that's what I was going to say, but I'm reading it in this person's words. And yes, Stanford is conducting the investigation, not the police or law enforcement or anything like that, but they don't have to. Michelle didn't do anything illegal. So, like I was saying, it's her employer, I think, who should look into it and pitch in on it. And that seems fair. Colonel Kurtz says, wow. Colonel Kurtz also missed my super chat, but she kind of apologized. But I was just joking anyway. It was only $1. Let's keep going. And we got a lot of people saying about time, because, yeah, this has been coming. I didn't think it would happen. I thought it would just, get flushed under the rug or whatever. But, all right, apparently, according to Larry, this is happening, and I'll be watching for news on it. And as you can see, the replies go down and down and down. This seems like it's going to be a pretty big thing if we could keep it going. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Doing pop culture, entertainment, things like that. I'm on Twitter. Maybe give me a follow. There's my Twitter handle right there. And consider subscribing here. If you don't subscribe, I'll be pretty sad about it, but I'll get over it. Done here for now. See you next time.